If you're interested in purchasing a telescope, for that person who has limited experience or no experience, we would like you to consider the Galileo 800 by 80 reflector telescope. In the next few minutes, what I would like to do is show you some of the features and benefits of this telescope, and hopefully equip you with the tools that will make you a more informed consumer. First of all, what's a reflecting telescope? You may not know it, but this telescope is not pointing to the ground. This telescope is pointing to the sky. A reflecting telescope works by using a primary mirror, such as this, which in this case is 80 millimeters in diameter, which is part of your description. 800 by 80, the 80 means the diameter of the primary mirror. So what happens is the light from the sky comes in, is reflected off of that primary mirror, hits your secondary diagonal mirror here, and comes out your focuser right here. That's where it gets its name, reflector. Reflector telescopes are designed for most astronomical usage. It's not designed to be used on the ground. It is definitely designed to be used in the sky. One of the advantages of a scope like this is when you have the best viewing time is when the objects are right over your head. So you can point a telescope like this right straight up and be able to look through it like this without having to hurt your back or anything like that. So for a first telescope, this little 800 by 80 reflector really fits the bill. What 800 refers to is not the power. Please never be persuaded when discussing telescopes by power. Power is not something that is going to help you. In fact, the more power that you want to put into a telescope and use a telescope at, the dimmer and more difficult the image is going to be to see. The 800 is simply the focal length of the mirror. 800 by 80 makes this telescope the largest physical telescope at its price point on the market. All right? Now, some of the advantages of this Galileo reflector telescope is you get two eyepieces. You get a 6 millimeter eyepiece and you get a 20 millimeter eyepiece. Now, they're not just eyepieces, but they're the 1¼ size eyepiece. That's something that you need to remember. They're not your small .965 that you might find in some of your toy stores or things of that nature. It's an 1¼ inch. So this format enables you to, as you go through time, maybe you want to buy a wide angle eyepiece, or maybe you want to buy a different size eyepiece. The 1¼ inch format is going to enable you to buy eyepieces from any telescope manufacturer anywhere, and it'll fit in your focuser here. You also have an 1¼ inch rack and pinion focuser with a helical rack, which is going to make your focusing experience much smoother with very little backlash. Another feature to this telescope, and pretty much unique to telescopes at this price point, is your Mars Eye Finderscope. Your Mars Eye Finderscope enables you to get down behind the telescope, look at that red dot as you can see, follow that red dot across the sky until it's on the object that you want to look at, and then you look through your main eyepiece here. It makes locating objects in the sky so much easier. Another thing that the beginner is often challenged with, and that's setting the telescope up. At Galileo, we are fully aware of that. The last thing you want to do is open up a box and see a lot of different pieces and a lot of different nuts and bolts that you have to use to assemble the tripod and the telescope. This tripod is pre-assembled. It comes right out of the box, already put together. You simply extend the legs and your tripod's set up. The telescope tube itself is already attached to the mount here. You'll see when you take it out of the box that this knob down here will be also attached to the mount. You simply remove the knob from the mount, you set the mount on top of the tripod, and you reattach the knob. That's how easy it is to assemble the telescope tripod to the actual telescope itself. Furthermore, your telescope comes with an accessory tray. The accessory tray serves two purposes: to hold your accessories and to help stabilize that tripod because you want a real sturdy tripod. The beauty of this accessory tray, it simply clips into place on these connecting rods. You just simply clip it into place and tighten the connecting rod. So when it comes to the first telescope, we realized that limited experience user or inexperienced user is going to be intimidated by the telescope because nobody thinks that you can actually use it. Okay? The Galileo 800 by 80 has 2 eyepieces, a 6 and a 20, 1.25" format, has your electronic Mars eye Finderscope, has your pre-assembled tripod, your quick release accessory tray, 800 millimeter focal length mirror, an 80 millimeter diameter mirror, which allows you to grab all that extra light. But last but not least, we're also going to give you the Planetarium Software. This is your roadmap to the sky. This will tell you what that bright object is up there in the sky at any given night. This will tell you what to look for in the future. You can go ahead in the future. You can go back to in the past. But the planetarium is your roadmap to the stars and will help you locate those objects out there in the sky. Hopefully, the information that I've just given you will equip you with sufficient information to make that informed decision.